Hello, this is Gabrielle from TermNet. Good to see you again, to e-meet you again. So, we did it. We reached step 5 already in our 5-step action plan to implement terminology management with ease. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the quite challenging step of integrating the processes. In step 4, we tackled the issue of having, designing, adapting a decent process for terminology management, which is used, which is not a standalone, but which is ideally already an SOP, a standard operating procedure. But then how to implement, how to integrate in the so-called process landscape of an organization. And that's the topic of step number 5 in your action plan. And again, I would say it is all about communication. You know, it's a funny thing. I was puzzled for many years that people in the language industry, language workers, actually are not that good in communication. In particular, when it comes to communicate with the various stakeholders of a terminology project. So this is kind of weird, I think, but it can be overcome, of course. We can learn how to do that, how to organize communication. In one of our previous videos, we were talking about rolling out a terminology campaign, with all the tips and tricks of our marketing and sales and communications departments and colleagues. And again, when we are about to integrate our terminology processes in the existing other processes in a company, we need a lot of communication skill. Let me scroll down here. We are not isolated any longer as terminology professionals. We are right in the middle of communication, because this is quite challenging, to understand, first of all, to understand yourself. What are the other processes, and how can the terminology process fit into them? Is it in quality management? Is it a quality process? Is it a design process? Yeah, when the product is created, there actually would be a very good starting point for terminology. Not at the end of the product chain, when everything has to be delivered already. Yeah, so you are in the middle of this communication process to really integrate the terminology process in the process landscape. So this is meant here, and also the tools. This is really quite a thing, when you understand what are the other tools, and how you can create these interfaces. This is still a challenge. We have a lot of problems, to create interfaces with enterprise resource tools, for instance, like SAP. Also, to create here the respective interfaces to make our terminology databases ideally communicate with the other tools. So this is nothing you can do alone. There, all your stakeholder management skills are needed, all your communication skills, and you have to ask your colleagues to make yourself understood, but also to understand their position and their requirements and their needs, and their processes. So in our engineering course, for instance, it was very interesting and useful for participants to have interviews with engineers, in that real environment, in the real world environment of how do engineers think and create terms. you know, and what do they think is important? Yeah? How do they think terminology should be created, managed, and handled? You know, so this was really, really important to understand. You know, for both sides, of course. Yeah? But the most important thing here in the integration is that you understand the whole landscape, which is difficult enough, and you can understand it only together with the respective people in these departments and the owners, the process owners of these landscapes. So this is it for today. There are some closing thoughts in the action plan, and actually you know them already because I mentioned it. Being a project manager for ages, I really understood that to have a nice project name and the nice logo and slogan for your project is key. Yeah, and to have that also as basis for that campaign we were talking about. You need to promote your terminology project and also your processes. You always have to market, to promote, and to sell in the best sense of the meaning. You know, your terminology work and management. You need the buy-ins. It's a very financial actually or business-oriented language and terminology we have here, but it's true. People have to buy in. Don't forget that terminology work and management is costly. Yeah, so you do need a budget, and you do need the buy-ins from all the relevant stakeholders. And of course, yeah, please don't you ever forget, it must be fun. Terminology must be fun for you and for all the others who are directly or indirectly impacted by terminology. So hope this was useful. Again, wish you all the best. Stay tuned. Have a great day. Bye. All the best.